Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Mitch. I'm here with Coach today. Hi, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing okay, man. It's always good winning football matches. It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, I think it's just like we decided to play well when we knew that I would be back on the podcast because the
Basically,
last thing we want is for me to be talking about a loss.
yeah.
So if I'm back, that means we can win games, and that is exactly what we did today. We're gonna start out with our question of the day today, Coach,
Yeah.
and it's your favorite recent purchase that you've made.
I don't know.
You wrote the question.
I
What do you
know,
mean you
right?
don't know?
I was curious to know what yours was.
I can tell you what mine is because I have it right here.
Go on, go on.
I love D&D, and so I recently bought a new book for it, and
Is
I
it a
just
guide?
love these absolute fucking textbooks of
Is it a
books
guide or
for
something?
things. It's just a bunch of monsters that I can throw at my players and stuff. It's very
Oh,
fun
that's so sick.
with cool art and stuff like that, and
That
it's
is
great.
wicked.
So that's definitely my favorite recent purchase. It's always fun to just buy a new textbook for yourself as an adult, you know?
Yeah. I thought of mine, and it's very, very underwhelming, but I enjoyed it a lot. I had a really nice carrot cake the other day.
Interesting.
No, seriously, it was. I'm gonna go back there again soon. It was
Hell
fantastic.
yeah.
Seriously, yeah. Carrot cake is probably my favorite cake overall. The more I think about it, I'd say it's probably my favorite cake. Yeah.
I think one of my childish opinions is that I don't want a vegetable in my dessert.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm the same thing. People like ginger beer. I'm like, how the fuck can you make a beverage out of ginger, bro? It doesn't belong in a beverage.
Yeah.
That's my hot take of the day. Like, you shouldn't have ginger in your beverage unless it's ginger ale, right? Ginger ale I can
Yes.
get down with. Ginger beer, hell no.
Completely fair. Coach hates a Moscow Mule. Oh, I guess you also don't drink, so that's also a reason why. That makes sense. Guys, we appreciate all of you listening to the podcast, and we would appreciate it even more if you liked, shared, and subscribed the Shirtless Plantain Show. We thank you all so much for listening and for sharing our podcast. Also, a little get well to our co-host Gabby, who had a Saka out of the lineup early in warm-ups. She had a toothache. She couldn't go today. But we're going to see if she can train the next few days so we can get her back in the lineup next weekend. Speaking of lineups, let's talk about Arsenal's lineup today. Pretty standard Arsenal 11. I feel like it's basically what we come to expect from
the back seven. Is it the back seven, including Raya? Yeah, the back seven, including Raya, is pretty much picks itself
Yep.
if Calafiori is fit. But if he's not fit, it's going to be Hincapié before Miles, I think. So that is our most by far settled part of the pitch by a million miles. Yeah.
100%. And even the front line is pretty standard. When everyone's healthy, it's been Gyökeres, Saka, Trossard. Unfortunately, Saka couldn't go today. Nani Madueke came in. And I think the biggest headline of the lineup, it was Odegaard out, Havertz in.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
I knew Arteta was serious about winning today, 100% serious about winning today. Leeds was never ever going to be an easy sort of, how we played them in the first half of the season, where it was nice and sunny. You could play all your ballers and technical players. It was just going to be a physical slog. So putting Kai right in the mix, I was like, it's all business today. It's all business. And I was really pleased with that, to be honest. Not that I didn't want Odegaard playing, but it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we're at a point where we have a lot of depth, so why not switch things up? Why not try something new?
Yeah.
I think based on how I saw Kai play in midweek, I think I was expecting him to play a little bit higher. There was moments where he and Gyökeres were kind of playing a little 4-4-2-y, but I think for the most part, Havertz kind of stuck to midfield.
Yeah.
What did you expect, and then what did you see out of where Havertz exactly played?
I suppose, because I don't really want to go too far ahead now, but what I expected was Kai to be our outball, first and foremost, and he wasn't. We were going direct to Gyökeres, and Kai was buzzing around for any sort of scraps or whatever. Um, I suppose what else I expected was whenever Kai got the ball, I suppose in front of their defense, I thought it was always going to be one or the other. He's either going to shoot or look for Gyökeres. It was never going to be anything too complicated. I didn't expect him to carry a lot today because the way Leeds played as well, if we're going direct, we're not going to need Kai to carry the ball 30, 40 yards kind of thing. And I don't think that part manifested, to be fair. But yeah, overall, like off the ball, Kai just makes us such a better. It's actually frightening how much better we are when he's playing off the ball. I know people don't want to hear that he's an attacker, blah blah. I hear all that. Kai is just a wonderful footballer, straight up and down. He really is, and he's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's what makes me like him so much more. Like you got to be a real dick to be an Arsenal fan and not like Kai Havertz, basically.
Yeah, I felt like my entire timeline in the Kai Havertz game was just like gushing over Kai Havertz of just like, I mean, it's so wonderful to have him back. He's such like a fun player to watch. He's exactly my cup of tea. I fucking love watching Kai Havertz. And I do feel like today was a little bit of a more of an off-ball performance from him today.
Yeah.
Which isn't a criticism. I think that's like you said, it's one of his strengths. But I think when you watch the game, like when I was just watching it in normal time, I was not seeing him as much as I would have liked to. But I feel like it's a game, if you go back and you're like looking closely, you're gonna be like, oh, he opened up this space here. This is what like allowed us to make this attack happen. Which is like his superpower. It's what he's really, really good at. And it's why coaches fucking love him. And why Arteta fucking loves him. So it's great to see him back in the starting 11 for 2 straight games. And hopefully he stays healthy the rest of the year and we get to continue to watch Kai Havertz because he is just a joy. What did you make of Saka being withdrawn for Nani?
So the good thing is, I don't think it's muscular, which is good. Because if it was muscular, I would have just broken down and cried. Honestly, I'm hearing it's a hip issue, so that's a good thing, I suppose. Maybe something. I
guess
anything is, as a footballer, unless it's like an ACL or a leg break, anything is better than a muscle issue. Genuinely, like muscle issues are just the worst, especially as the type of player he is. If you've got a muscle issue, especially in his quads or hamstrings, that's just a big problem. It's a really big problem, despite the weirdly wrong consensus that Saka isn't an explosive player. Saka is an explosive player. So those muscles are incredibly important. And that's where he draws a lot of his strength from when he's holding off players as well. So I'm glad it's a hip issue and I hope it's nothing too serious. I just have to stress here again, as long as it's not a muscle issue with Saka, I am fine with whatever injury it is, genuinely.
100%. Let's get into the game. I think to open the game, Leeds definitely started, they played their entire game more on the front foot than we're used to seeing, especially against a newly relegated team. They were very physical. They were pressing high, and causing a little bit of issues for us at first. But I think we really grew into the game. What did you think of like the start?
Yeah, we had no build-up, and that was definitely Leeds having the upper hand. I think in the first 10 seconds, Leeds went long, and then it will end up on the right wing, and without even thinking, Saliba's the most composed player in our entire squad. He just hoofed it straight away. It was just like, okay, we're not even gonna fuck around like today. It's gonna be all business. So once he's hoofed, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so now we're telling them to break us down. We know they don't have the quality to break us down, basically. But they were just trying to outrun us, outmatch us physically, all of that kind of thing. And opening exchanges, we couldn't really get out, which was fine. We're away from home. Leeds have got a very, very tough ground. They've beat Chelsea. They've taken points off United and Liverpool. It's not an easy place to come at all. So I was pleased with the fact that we gave them that respect to say, okay, cool, we'll start playing our football. We just have to let them gas themselves out a little bit, and then we'll grow into the game. But my respect for Daniel Farke is huge because it would have been very easy for him to say, okay, we're playing a 3-4-2-1, but really it's a 5. You know what I mean? It's a 5 4-3-2 or whatever, or yeah, and or 5-4-1 if you like, and we're just gonna sit. And he didn't. It really made for a proper Barclays football match. I think proper 3 p.m. kickoff game for.
Yeah, it was really nice to see a team not just put 12 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, whenever a team does do that, we usually kick their asses, which is an advertisement to other teams like, don't fucking do that. So don't try to play against us, because it often doesn't go well for you if you are not as good as us.
That was my biggest concern thinking about next week, actually. I was like, damn, now everyone's going to be like, oh, shit, we thought Arsenal we smoked blood. Nah, they're still good.
Yeah. There's got to be respect for us still, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So obviously Madueke came in for Saka. I think his 1v1 ability really came into play in this game. What did you make of him, specifically in like how he changes our attack when Saka's not playing?
So it's really interesting because I think this season both of them have played pretty similar games. They've both gone on the outside of their man a lot. They've played a traditional sort of touchline winger role where they stood their man up and then go on the outside of them. Whether they drive into the box with the ball on the outside or just cross it in on their weak side. They've done that a lot this season, which is quite interesting, I want to say, purely for the fact that I think they're very different players. Saka is a winger, obviously, but he's more of a playmaker for me. And Madueke is just a straight up winger, direct winger. Yeah. And the fact that they're both playing similar games to me, it probably tells me it's a bit of instruction there, surely. Although it's very obvious that Saka has way more license to drift and play through the centre and stuff like that due to his ability. But one thing is clear, while both of them are 1v1 take on demons, we were talking about explosion and explosiveness earlier. Madueke is more explosive than Saka. I think they asked, do you ever watch those Arsenal videos actually, of when they're asking players, when they're coming in for training in the morning, they ask the player a question. And they asked Martinelli, who's the fastest player? And he was like, it's Madueke.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference. Madueke is a speed demon. And I think despite Saka being injured, I think it might have been a blessing in disguise for today's game because of how much space he had to just dart at his man. So yeah, that's the biggest difference. I think that the fact that Madueke is faster and is considerably more direct, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I understand some people's like trepidation or concerns with Madueke. I understand wanting your attacking players to like have like get the counting stats. I get it. But just watch Nani Madueke and tell me that isn't a fucking awesome soccer player. Like, holy shit. Like, he is just so fun to watch and like is just like the antithesis to every criticism of Arteta's Arsenal that were like boring and not very direct. And he is like the 100% not boring and he is very, very direct. And when you it's great to have like such a direct and fun player like that. Like obviously sometimes the cross doesn't come off correctly or sometimes he doesn't get the correct shot off, but like you create these situations that goals will come. You know, like you are putting the ball in dangerous situations and good things will happen when you do that. And I think Arsenal have like underperformed that kind of strategy this season, which is why there's so much criticism of it. But like, if you put the ball in the box and you get a foot on it, you can score goals. And score goals today we did. From the 20th minute onward, we were like much more in control. What do you think like shifted? Do you think it was like you said earlier, like just we're waiting for Leeds to tire themselves out?
Yeah, I mean it's funny because there's so many teams in this league that bank on the fact that they may or may not, that their opposition may or may not have had a game midweek. I think you're looking at United. United by far are the biggest benefactors of that. They're going to play 40 games this season. They're literally just playing a full league campaign. They might as well not have entered the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, to be honest. And I think second half of the season, you're going to see that. Man United are going to blow a lot of teams away second half of the season, I think. Especially with an actual competent coach in charge of them for once. And it's funny because Pep Guardiola, I remember he said in 23-24 season that while Arsenal don't have the Champions League or any other cup competitions anymore, he thinks they've got the advantage because they're playing more high stakes games more regularly. So they're just inconsistent, like flat fight or flight mode, where Arsenal will play a game on the Saturday, have a full week's rest to the Saturday kind of thing. And we might not always hit optimum levels kind of thing. And the second half of the season, especially the last 10, 15 games, you're not banking on fitness. You're banking on momentum and just the feel-good factor of winning kind of thing. And I feel like that plays out today when you're looking at an elite side and a side that is just hair to make up the numbers. No disrespect to Leeds kind of thing. So Arsenal obviously played against United, lost. High stakes game. Played against Carrot Almaty, not a high stakes game, but quite a few of those players got minutes today as well. The likes of Gyökeres, Havertz, Madueke, Hincapié as well. So they're like already in super competitive mode already, and then you have a nice mix of players that had a nice week's rest as well, and they're raring to go. They lost against United. They're raring to go. So for me, it's probably a combination of them gassing themselves up, but also Arsenal just physically, optimizing, like acclimating. Yes, that's the word, to the demand of the game. And after that, we start popping it around quite easily, I want to say.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a big thing of that is obviously in a 4-0 win, it's like weird to be like, one of the reasons we won today is because of our center backs. But Gabriel and Saliba are so dominant, especially physically. Like in a game where, Leeds have built themselves a very physical and like imposing team, but like it still doesn't come close to how imposing we are. And it starts with Gabriel and Saliba, where Dominic Calvert-Lewin has had a really, really good season, and he's a physical striker. He didn't have a touch of the ball today.
No.
Like he had nothing to fucking do. And it's hard to win a game when you just like, your strikers just being absolutely nullified. And I think we did a really, really good job of that. And also just like being able to just contain possession in their half is such a strength of Arsenal, to like constantly have that pressure cooking. In the 27th minute, we get our first goal. We open the game up. It's a Martin Zubimendi header off a Nani Madueke cross. It's like a second phase from a corner. Fantastic low cross from Nani, because it had to be low for Martin Zubimendi, who's not super tall. But great cross and header, 1-0 to the Arsenal. It was funny. I really need to start listening to these games on mute because the commentators do nothing but piss me off. Welcome. And the commentators at 0-0 were like, it seems like Arsenal are nervous that they might get second in the league again. And then we went up 1-0 and they're like, yeah, Arsenal are going to win the league. And I'm like, I fucking hate you. I just fucking hate you.
I'm pretty sure it was Lee Hendry that was pushing that. And the moment we went 1 or 2-0 up, his tune changed. Yeah, they just got too much quality. Their squad is so big. I'm just like, bro, you were just baying for our blood literally 2 seconds ago. What the fuck? What happened, bro?
It's so annoying, and it's just entirely narratives. It's like someone just scrolled through like a Twitter timeline and was just like, yeah, this 15-year-old thinks that Arsenal are mentally soft. So that's what I'm going to say that on TV. Is just crazy to me. So I can't wait for Peacock to roll out the feature where you can just have crowd noise and not commentating.
It's already on Amazon, and I think some Sky broadcasts have it as well. But on Amazon, you can just have crowd noise. But on the goal,
they should do that with everything.
Yeah. on the goal, that's Madueke's first goal contribution in the league for Arsenal, by the way.
What?
He was on 0 goals, 0 assists in the league for Arsenal.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Because the stats went up like this past week. A lot of them were out of context as well. This Arsenal forward hasn't scored in this many games, but then some of them were like mixed with league games and Champions League games and cup games, and then some were just league games. So it was a very inconsistent data set, but they were doing it for obviously dramatic effects kind of thing. Which don't get me wrong, Arsenal forwards need to score more, but you give these people an inch, they'll take a flipping mile basically. So I'm very glad that he's got that monkey off his back for sure, and he was terrorizing that right hand side or Leeds left hand side. It's really nice to see that despite us being under strength, I wasn't scared that Arsenal were going to drop points today. Not because of the opposition, but usually it's like, oh, we need our best players to win. It was just like, no, we'll actually just make do today. It's fine. It doesn't matter if we're missing our best player and who in my mind on form is the best player in the league. Doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
That's how I felt.
we just have so much quality. Like
Mm.
Mikel Marino and Miles Lewis-Skelly weren't even on the bench today.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like we have so much depth, and like, I mean, this is skipping ahead, but like we were up 3-0 and we were bringing on like Jesus and Eze. It's just like we have just like an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
And so it's great that, like, I mean, last season we were throwing in a 17-year-old to play for Saka when he was hurt. So it's great to have someone like Nani Madueke to come in and play this well. And also we'll get to it in a second because the second goal is fully a part of it. But like, it's crazy how good Madueke has gotten at corners this quickly. Like, he is putting in dangerous deliveries.
Do you remember at Liverpool? Like, he was on the pitch and we're getting Rice to run over to the left hand side to take corners. It's like, yeah, he's really, really started to get really good at these now, man.
Yeah, it's very, very impressive, and especially on the second goal. We were firmly in control after 1-0, and I think we were finding like some interesting like situations with Gabriel and Zubimendi's like passing. What did you make of that?
Yeah, there was one ball in particular from Gabriel where he's just he slipped as he's hit it, but he's hit it with such good weight into space to Madueke. And this is what I was talking about, the difference between Madueke and Saka. Don't get me wrong, Saka could probably get onto that ball, no problem. But because we know how quick Madueke is, it's just always an option. So going direct to Madueke, you know, is a change from going direct to Gyökeres or Havertz kind of thing, because what that does is essentially now you're going to have an overload wherever the ball ends up, because they've going to scoot over, double up on Madueke, and if they don't double up on him, their fullback's in trouble. I don't think there's a fullback in the world that's handling Madueke. What he does after he gets past him, that's really none of my business. but
that's between him and God. I don't know honestly what the fuck he's doing when he looks at goal. But I know he's going to murder a left back.
he's just going to fry them. And then same thing with Zubimendi. Zubimendi, even though his passing was good, I feel like I was enjoying the areas he was trying to pick up the ball, because it was making Leeds have to make decisions. And while players their cogs in their brains are moving, trying to make decisions, we already know what we're going to do, kind of thing. So that gives you that extra half second or a second to figure out what's next, kind of thing. You're already a step ahead. So I was really enjoying just where he was popping up with the ball. It was really making it difficult for Leeds to figure things out, man. And yeah, we'll get onto Rice, I suppose, later on. But Rice, have more special words for the guy today. So yeah.
And never enough good things to say about Declan Rice. In the 38th minute, Arsenal get their second goal from our, at that point, joint top goal scorer in the Premier League, own goal. However, I want to dispute this. As much as I love my boy Owen, who is on a Ballon d'Or run right now, he is fucking cooking for Arsenal. That's a Madueke Olympico. I don't want to hear fucking anything else. That's a fucking Madueke Olympico, and I think that's rad, especially because it's felt like Saka and Rice have been like,
so close.
It feels like they have money on it. Like they've both been going for Olympicos all season, and so it's very funny to me that Madueke is the one that, in my head, that's a fucking Olympico.
If it's on target,
yeah,
and to my mind, it's definitely on target, and the goalkeeper hits it into the goal. That's a goal. That's your goal. That's how it's like, okay, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit here, but Gyökeres, are you gonna take Gyökeres' goal away from him, even though the goalkeeper hit it into the goal basically as well? It makes that is Madueke's goal. I'm sorry, it is. And if he needs me to lawyer up for him, I will do it. I will get him his goal. I will, right? I mean business.
Yeah. We will make sure the partners of Coach and Mitch will get Madueke this goal and get that on his stat sheet. We can't be having this one assist in the Premier League nonsense. Well, what do you have?
So I'll bring my tactics board as well.
Yeah, we'll show like the curvature of the ball. If there was no players here, this is a goal every day of the week. They tried stopping it and they couldn't. This is an Olympico. Exactly. We're gonna call it for Olympico. What a goal for Madueke. 2-0 to the Arsenal going into the halftime. How'd you feel?
It was. Do you know what? It was nice to be at an away ground, 2-0 up, having 2 shots on target, creating less than 0.3 xg, and being in zero danger. Like, Arsenal played well in a sense that it was just it was business. It was no frills. The excitement we got was with our, was through Medway, but nothing else. But Leeds had nothing for us, and it's when you've been on the sort of run that we've been on, it's so important to do the basics well, especially off the ball. Despite you being way better than the team that you're playing, just do the basics right. Do all of the basics right. Play it the way you're facing. Stick close to when you're trying to play combination football. Stay close to your man so that obviously you can attract players, win your foul, whatever. Basic stuff, and everything else will take care of itself. And I think it was very important that we had a 2-0 lead going into the second half, because again, we scored first in how many games this year alone, this kind of year alone, and it hasn't been confident wins. You know what I mean? Or confident games in the end. So it was really, really important that despite the level of opposition, we just do that. Look, we got pegged back against United. We got pegged back against Kairat. I think even against Chelsea, while we were 2-0 up kind of thing, they get a goal back. We go through and up, then they get another goal. Like, stuff like that has to stop. Same thing with Bournemouth. Despite us, they even scored first, but then we go 3-1 up and then they score again, make it nervous. It was so important to stop the rot of that. It does wonders for players' confidence. It really does. So that was my main concern. Clean sheet, but also just the basic stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, we had a 4-0 win today, but I think maybe the biggest thing is that we're back on track getting a clean sheet, and getting it away from home too is so massive for like what we know this team could do. Like it feels so long ago because it was only in October. It's not that long ago where we went the entire month without conceding a goal. That's how good this team can be. Yeah. That's how dominant this team can be. So when you see us conceding multiple like dumb goals against United, it's like, well, this is frustrating because we know we can be better. It definitely frustrating. Coming out of the half, Leeds started the second half very well. I felt like the fans got into it in a different way in the second half. In the first half, it felt very Anfield, where there was like, and I say that in a derogatory way, where they're just like booing at everything. And that's a good atmosphere. But in the second half, it was like they're like standing up, like twirling the scarves. They're just like really just like amped for the team. And it felt intimidating in a way that I haven't seen from a away crowd in a while. And I think it really inspired Leeds. Obviously, it didn't do that much, but they played a lot better. And then we had a chance to put it away. Gyökeres is through on goal from a great pass from Trossard. This is Gyökeres' bread and butter. If you're watching any of his like 100 goals he's scored for Sporting, 40 of them were like this, where it was a breakaway and he's just going to outmuscle a defender and put it in, like, break the net with how hard he's going to hit it. And he wasn't able to get away from his man. Are you a little concerned with like his pace? Like we talked before about his like acceleration being a little bit slow, but he is fast. But like he was at a full sprint. Like he started making the run early and he was still caught up to by a guy. You think this is just like the pace of the Premier League?
It's 100% the pace of the Premier League. I mean, he had the exact same chance against Kairat, and Kairat are a team in Uzbekistan who are closer to the quality of the Portuguese league than they are to the quality of the Premier League, physically and technically. So, I mean, he had a bad first touch against Kairat as well, and still managed to salvage it and put it in the back of the net. If he gets away like that, well, we saw the example of today. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a different level. It really is just a different level. But I'm not gonna shit on him because I don't want people to think I've got it out of him, because I don't. I hope he does continue to do really well for us. Today was a good game from him. I don't feel like he got bullied. I don't feel like he got bullied physically. I feel like whenever we went direct to him, the ball stuck and he was able to get off to a teammate. We were able to build play from there. And that chance itself, I just feel like in the Premier League, Gyökeres is just not going to be able to score that chance. Unless he beats it off, he times it right and he's just clean through, like a good 10-yard head start probably, I want to say. Gyökeres is just not going to score that type of goal in the Premier League. Everyone's so big and fast. It is ridiculous. Like, I think Nottingham Forest are 17th, I want to say, right now.
Something like that.
Murillo, the other day, exact same chance, caught him up. He's playing for the 17th place team, guys. Like, the Premier League is just a different level, so he's got no chance getting away from Konate. and whoever else. It's just not going to happen. But outside of that, I was quite pleased with Gyökeres today. I feel like it was a performance close to what I'd expect from him and his qualities.
I agree with that. And I think Havertz playing did help him because I think it was like another thing for defenders to have to focus on when we were like in a near prototypical 4-4-2. It created more space for Gyökeres where he had like more one-on-one opportunities, which I think was really beneficial for him. Speaking of Havertz, shortly after the Gyökeres miss and we're kind of dealing with the pressure, Arteta acts quickly with the sub. I assume because it's like the 60th minute, it was probably pretty planned to take Havertz off for Odegaard. Sure. And then Madueke also came off for Martinelli. He looked to be limping when he came off, but like I kind of don't chalk that up to anything. Like I never, if I see a player limping off the field, I'm never like, oh, he's hurt. I'm always just like, oh, he had a game, you know? Like Saka's limping all the time. That's just
but do you know, it's just weird. It's just weird because Madueke to me, he looked a bit annoyed as well. That's what kind of it was his body language and his facial expression. I was like, maybe he did pick something up. But also maybe it's just we have to get used to the fact that we've got a big squad and it's winning time now. So keeping everyone fresh is what's going to win us stuff. If everyone is fresh, Arsenal should win a fuck ton of football matches between now and the end of the season. It's really that simple for me now, I think. If we're playing tired, and I know I don't want to give people PTSD, but I just go back to certain performances from certain games of years gone by. If we're looking at just recent history, Paris Saint-Germain last season, we were out on our feet. There was nothing there. There was literally, it was a miracle we gave them a game in a part of their France. Genuinely, there was nothing there physically. The season before last against Bayern Munich as well, very tired. The same week that essentially we lost the Premier League when we lost to Aston Villa. Great first half, but we gassed out in the second half, kind of thing. I think there was a run where we went winless for 3 games. I want to say in April. Yes, it was. It was the West Ham draw, the Liverpool draw, and I think another game. Maybe it was Brighton. I don't know. Again, physically we gassed out. Squad wasn't big enough 2 years ago. Squad wasn't big enough last season. Now the squad is big enough, and we're seeing Arteta do things that, to be frank, are alien. This is new for Arteta to rotate players, seriously rotate players. Since when did he take off his starting striker on 60 minutes or whatever it was? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very, very, Hincapié for Calafiori, like, the minutes are being shared in a way that whoever comes in next, they shouldn't be fatigued. The only place I have concern really is between Rice and Zubimendi. I feel like they probably need to be managed a bit better outside of that. But yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So shortly after the subs, Arsenal do make it 3-0 and put the game away. Yeah. Victor Gyökeres gets the goal. Great goal from him. But we got to talk about Gabriel Martinelli on this.
Yeah,
he's playing on the right hand side. And just gets away from his man and puts in a hell of a fucking cross to Victor Gyökeres to put it away. I mean, Martinelli on his weaker side too, putting a cross in like that was super, super impressive. And then I feel like this is the 6th time this season that I've said it, but like Vic needed that. That's gonna be the goal.
I mean, if I'm gonna be a dick, half of Victor's league goals have come against Leeds, so
that's true.
it is what it is, but they all count. But I want to go back a little bit. The pass from Odegaard to set away Martinelli was really fucking good, and essentially him coming on, it was funny. His presence in the game, I feel like, was Arsenal sort of saying, okay, Leeds have essentially fully physically gassed themselves out now. Now Martin can come in. Now Martin doesn't have to worry about 2 midfielders bum rushing him or knocking him around kind of thing. He can go at his own pace, not worry too much kind of thing. And we benefited from it. He was creating really good sort of overloads just by popping up all over the pitch. You know what I mean? And picking passes that will make it difficult for Leeds, but also following them up as well. And Leeds just couldn't physically keep up with the demand anymore because they put a lot into the game already. So it was I have to give Arteta his props today. He got the selections all the selection and the subs, he got it spot on today. But the goal for Vic, again, 2 subs combining for him to to essentially get a goal that he should be scoring for me every other week. That is Victor Gyökeres. 6-yard box from a cross. I don't care if it's a low cross, if it's a hung cross. Be in a 6-yard box for a cross and get something on it and hope for the best. That is how we should be utilising Victor Gyökeres, for me, as far as I'm concerned.
Fully agreed. Shortly after which, you mentioned Calafiori coming on for Nkapie. Gabriel Jesus comes on for Gyökeres. I did think it was fun that Calafiori came on and it immediately started just dumping rain to really like up the rom-com look for him. It was real nice of the weather. And shortly after Jesus comes on, he gets a chance, heads it right at a goalkeeper. It was a real nice cross from Timber. You have a note on here of wanting to talk about Timber's crossing?
Yeah, I mean, that crossing, there's a cross before where Darlow collects it. Those are the best 2 crosses I've seen Timber ever put in. Seriously.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, Timber's crossing is poor. If there's one thing about Timber's game, it's not even the fact that on the ball, I think Timber's fantastic in attacking areas. On the ball, he's fantastic. His final product might be worse than Madueke's. In fact, it is. He's got such a bad cross. But today, and it kind of takes it back to Bakary Sagna. There was a period of time where Bakary Sagna could not cross to save his life. It was so bad. Teams were essentially pushing the ball to Sagna because they knew when he got the ball, he had nothing to worry about. One day it clicked and he became one of our best crossers in the squad. It was, I don't know, I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was somewhere in and around the 10-11 season, I want to say. And then from 11-12 season onwards, he was just dumping bombs into the box. It was really, really impressive. And I hope a similar arc is going to happen with Timber. Like, he should be a good cross. He's Dutch, man. Like, you're a good crosser, bro. Please.
Yeah, really impressive crossing from him today. So hopefully he goes on a Bakary Sagna run. That would be great. You mentioned Odegaard earlier. What did you make of him after he came on?
He's taking a lot of shit, like,
from
everybody. Like, he's taking so much shit. And what I love, one of the things I love about Odegaard is that his appearance doesn't match the mentality that he has. He looks like a choir boy, but he's as professional, focused, hungry as anybody that shows it. Genuinely, like, you don't come back from, all the setbacks Arsenal have had in the last 3-4 years as Arsenal captain and be in the position that we are if your captain isn't driven, isn't pushing everybody forward. Even if he does it in a less pronounced way, he's more of a facilitator kind of thing. He's still our captain. He's still our avatar. He's still Arteta's representative. And we know one thing about Arteta, especially with Berta, Arteta is going to be ruthless. He's taken off before the hour in the last 2 games, so he's clearly seen an issue there. But that isn't to say that he doesn't trust Odegaard anymore. It's more of a, you're the captain, but you're not safe if you're underperforming, and it goes for everybody. He benched Gabriel for the first 3 games of the 23-24 season, whatever the reason was. Gabriel was our best centre back then. He's our best centre back now. Whatever the reason was, he benched for 3 games. So Arteta has previous in this. It's not an issue for him to bench a player that's having issues, regardless of if you're the captain or not, regardless of your quality. But I will say, up until Aston Villa, Odegaard was having a really good, 4, 5, 6 games, and then he fell off a cliff for whatever reason. And I feel like today was a nice cameo for him to just get back into the rhythm of things. And we're going to get onto his assist, obviously. But he got an assist today, so
yeah.
Gets
an assist on Gabriel Jesus' 4th goal to really put the game to bed. Really nice hold-off play by Jesus, like where for a second I thought it was Gyökeres, because it was like what Gyökeres should be doing, of like being able to outmuscle a guy and getting a good shot off. So very, very impressive by Gabriel Jesus. I didn't even realize until they showed the replay he had this nice little like drag back of the ball before he takes really the shot. So it was a very nice, like almost in my mind, like a perfect mix of like a Gyökeres goal and a Jesus goal, and it was very, very nice. But obviously Odegaard gets the assist, which is a great. Assists are such a hard stat because sometimes you create so much, but the guys that you're creating to aren't finishing. Like
Saka.
both,
Saka.
yeah. Like Saka and Bruno Fernandes have the same amount of expected assists this season. Saka has 3 assists, Fernandes has 10. And it's truly finishing variables. And like you can criticize Saka's end product right now, but like he is creating, it's just not being finished to acquire those counting stats, which is frustrating, you know? And so it's great for Odegaard to be able to, get one on the board, get an assist, and have it in a little bit of a lower pressure environment when your team's already up.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting thing apart from obviously Gabby Jesus's wonderful skill was where Odegaard picked the ball up and where he passed it from. It wasn't from the usual ozone creative area. It wasn't in the right half space. He drifted over to left half space, and his game is simplified there. I've said it 100 times. Like, it's very nice for Odegaard to be in that area and just be able to push passes rather than caress them. You push it because it's on your strong side. All you got to do is push the ball. So technically, it's a much more simpler skill, and it just makes life easier for yourself and for whoever you're giving the ball to. It's going to reach the intended target with the right pace, especially when you're someone like Odegaard. When he simplifies his game, technically, Odegaard, there's not much Odegaard can't do with the football. Seriously,
100%. Couldn't agree more. Last sub, Eze comes on for Trossard. We get a little cameo from him. I was honestly, I think Arteta did a really good job with the subs and everything today. I would have liked to see Timber come off for White, both because Timber plays a lot and he was on a yellow card. Like there was a moment he runs into the goalkeeper and some of the commentators were like advocating for a red card. And it's like, yeah, the way this game's been refereed, I feel like I would have taken Timber off just being on a yellow, but obviously no harm, no foul, nothing came of it. So we can hold up our hands and be like, all right, everything's fine. Arsenal won 4-0 today. Is this is the title charge back on? Although I'm talking to you, surely you're on the same page as me of everyone was overreacting to high heaven the last few weeks.
So yeah, I mean, it's good to react. That's the first thing. Arsene Wenger always says, if you lose one game, don't lose 2 in a row, kind of thing. That would always be, and I know it's a pattern with Arsene Wenger. Whenever we went on a bad run, we'd rarely ever end it with a win. We'd always get a draw, and then we'd start winning again, kind of thing. So it was nice to sort of just get back to winning ways straight away. 2 wins on a bounce since the United loss, and we scored 7 goals in those two games with different lineups as well. So I'm pleased. I'm really, really pleased. And just the second half alone, actually, the amount we created in the second half, we could have ended this game with 6 or 7 goals. I think that's the most encouraging thing. So yeah, I think it's back on. And as I said before in the last pod, when something breaks the way it broke against United, it forces the coach's hand to fix something. So there were some changes. You know, Odegaard came out of the team, Havertz came in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Sunderland game. Obviously, I know we've got Chelsea in a week, but I'm really looking forward to the Sunderland game. I think Arsenal at home, with another chance to potentially, hopefully, by the time we're playing next week, we'll be 7 points ahead already, for a chance to really put pedal to the metal. Because I think after Sunderland, we've got like one cup game, I think, which is Wigan on the 14th. And I feel like it's Premier League for a while until Champions League starts back up again. So yeah, really good opportunity next week in the league to assert ourselves and say, okay, we're back, basically.
Yeah, and no Xhaka for Sunderland as well, so that should be very, very helpful. I have been of the opinion this entire season, even if we've had a little bit of dip of form, we're winning the quadruple until we're not.
I'm with you on that.
We're winning the quadruple till we're not. Until we're out of a competition, we're winning the quadruple. There's something that Arteta said recently after the United game that I would like to echo to everyone, because I think it's a sentiment that I've echoed before on the pod, and I just want to do it again. Guys, Arsenal's really good. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the ride. We are exactly where we want to be. We are challenging for 4 trophies at once right now. This team is fucking phenomenal. We're winning it all. Coach, anything else before we head out of here?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It's just there's a level of, I don't know what it is. Someone's going to call it a sickness, but there's a level of sickness in fandom in general, and it's Arsenal fandom is no exception here, where you can only enjoy after the fact. You can't enjoy prior, and that means team fans of other teams trying to dim your light and trying to make you feel less than for being happy about your team doing well. And what that then does, what happens, people don't realize it, is that you start taking on those behaviors. So you're like, I can't be happy 1-4-0 today because we should be 10 or 12 points clear now. When it's like, hang on, well, no, you can actually. You can choose to be happy, you can choose to accept that what's happened in the past has happened in the past. But Arsenal, regardless of what the result was last week, we're always going to be in a fantastic position regardless. It's just the way it happened. It sucked. But when you start reacting to things in such a way where it doesn't even make sense. The Gillian Balligay tweet this week, people up in arms about that, saying, "Oh, that's just propaganda, that's just whatever." It's like, you people saying it's propaganda seriously do not speak to or even indulge in football media on the continent. Because if you did, you'd know what the sort of things are being said about Arteta, not only just in Spain, but in Italy, but in Germany, but in France. Arteta and this Arsenal team are highly regarded, guys. Despite this northwest bias in England, that the media there that basically filter down to the rest of the country, despite what they say about us on the continent, it's pretty much the inverse. It's very much. It's so funny because in Italy for a while, Mourinho was hated. In fact, he probably still is hated, to be fair. And in England, they were loving this guy, but it's like Mourinho was hated for so many things. I was just like, wow, that's such a culture. Like in England, they love Mourinho for being who he is and whatever. And in Italy, they're like, no, this guy's a dickhead, basically. And it's just important to, when people offer insight, genuine insight, don't bat it away because you're upset about something. Actually listen to what they're saying. Even if you don't agree, you can't discount people's experiences and what they're saying. It's true to them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was just one example of, how the sickness of not enjoying stuff can allow you to be irrational about something like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I've ranted there. I'll leave it there. Up the Arsenal. We're winning all 4 competitions this season. Fuck everybody and fuck Chelsea.
Up the Arsenal, winning the quadruple. Fuck Chelsea. Coach, you know what to say.
Peace.